Episode 114 this week, Peak Performance. This one, the penultimate episode of Season 2. Well, this one, much faster pace than last week. The Enterprise is preparing for a War Games exercise. This guy Starfleet sends over named Sarami comes aboard, and his species is an expert species when it comes to warfare tactics. Data explains that his species hasn't been at war for hundreds of years because everyone's afraid of their tactical expertise. And Worf's like, well, then their reputation is meaningless because they've not actually fought in a battle. And so there's a discrepancy there. But Sarami comes aboard, tells Picard and Riker they're going to captain against each other. Riker is going to take a very small crew over to the Hathaway, which is an abandoned starship that's way out of date, and he's going to use mock-up weapons against the Enterprise in this simulation of a battle. And Picard and Riker aren't taking the thing very seriously. This Sarami guy is taking it very seriously. Apparently, they thought it was important to have this because the Borg threat was looming, and so this was supposed to represent the Borg, apparently. Even though they'd have updated ships and far greater firepower than the Hathaway. But Riker assembles his team. He picks Worf, he picks Geordi LaForge, he picks Wes Crusher, he picks a bunch of extras, and they board the Hathaway. They get the thing barely functional. It's barely got life support. It's got no warp drive. Dilithium crystals are nearly gone. Geordi's explaining to Wes Crusher that they don't have much to work with there. But Riker wants some type of warp speed. He just needs like a quick jolt of warp speed, he thinks, to defeat Picard in a surprise maneuver. Wes Crusher beams aboard the Enterprise, and he, under the guise of getting a school project that was unstable that he'd forgotten, grabs some antimatter and goes and beams it back over to the Hathaway. He beamed the Enterprise's own antimatter to the other ship. He tricked them. Tricked Geordi LaForge going over there. Tricked Picard getting the permission. But they got the antimatter, and Riker's all pleased. It's only going to give him a quick 2-second boost of warp speed, but Riker figures that's enough. They get all the weapons underway, and while they were waiting for all of this to go down, Sarami and Riker play some sort of weird game where you put little sleeves on all your fingers that are attached to cables, and then it does some unspecified game. We never knew exactly what the game was or how it worked or anything. They're just throwing out random, oh, no one's hit level X amount before. Oh, he's gotten to level X before. There is no clear, definitive discussion of the rules or how it worked or what the objective was or anything. But Riker lost to this guy. And then Pulaski was mad. She made Data challenge Sarami. Data very reluctantly agreed. And then Data was defeated. So Pulaski's like, how could you lose? You're an android. And then Data loses his confidence. He stays in his room. Picard has to go and give him a pep talk. And Pulaski's walking around feeling horribly. She made Data lose his confidence. But then they get to the War Games, and as they're simulating this battle, a Ferengi ship shows up. And the daemon of the Ferengi ship's like, well, clearly, if you're fighting your own ship, then there's something valuable aboard that, and you're trying to take it from them because they've gotten a hold of it and they're defecting. And Picard's like, no, that's not it. He's like, shut up, you, I'll blast you both out of the sky. But then Riker hits his surprise warp maneuver, and the Ferengis take off and hide, and that's the end of it. They all laugh, but then Data challenges Sarami to a rematch. They have the rematch and Data wins this time. Technically, they went to a draw because Sarami gave up, and Data was trying to explain they went to a draw, but Placidy's like, no, Data, you won. And so Data took it as a win, even though it was reluctant. And that's pretty much peak performance. Some interesting notes in this one. Armand Shimmerman, who played Quark in Deep Space Nine, was the daemon of the Ferengi ship, so he had experience in the first 2 seasons playing Ferengis before he got the role of Quark. Also in this one, they were reusing shots from other episodes in the movies when they were towing the Hathaway. That came from one of the movies. They reused some stock footage in the battle scene. They also redressed the battle bridge from earlier episodes of The Next Generation to make it the Hathaway Bridge. So they reused a lot of things in this one to save some cost. And pretty much episode 114